Three of OpenAI's most powerful executives are gone, and the company hasn't even gone public yet. In the span of just days, OpenAI's C-suite has been turned upside down, with its chief marketing officer stepping down, its chief operating officer moving on, and its product chief announcing a significant medical leave, all while the company races toward what could be the most consequential IPO in tech history. The timing could not be more dramatic. Here's everything you need to know. OpenAI is no longer just the scrappy AI research lab that released ChatGPT to the world in late 2022. It is now a company valued at over $150 billion, with hundreds of millions of users, billions in annual revenue, and ambitions that stretch far beyond any chatbot. The company has been quietly preparing for a potential initial public offering, a moment that would transform OpenAI from a private entity into one of the most watched public companies on Earth. And it is precisely at this hinge point in its history that the leadership upheaval has arrived. Here is what we know about the departures. OpenAI's chief marketing officer is stepping down, but not by choice in the traditional sense. The executive is taking leave to focus on cancer recovery. The human dimension of that story is impossible to separate from the business dimension. When a company is weeks or months away from one of the biggest IPOs in Silicon Valley history, losing the person responsible for how the world perceives your brand is a serious operational challenge. At the same time, OpenAI's chief operating officer is moving on to a new role outside the company. The COO position sits at the very center of how a company runs day to day, overseeing operations, coordinating across departments, and ensuring that the machine actually functions. And then there is Fidji Simo, OpenAI's product chief, who will also take a significant medical leave. Simo is one of the most experienced product executives in the industry, having previously led Instacart and held senior roles at Meta. Her absence, even temporary, leaves a gap at the product layer of the company right when OpenAI is fighting the fiercest product war in the history of artificial intelligence. So what does this mean? First, let's be clear. Leadership transitions happen at every major company. Executives get sick. People move on. That is not unusual. What is unusual is the concentration of these events, at this specific moment, across this many senior roles simultaneously. Investors and analysts who are watching OpenAI's IPO trajectory will be asking a direct question. Is this a company in control of its own destiny, or is there turbulence beneath the surface that the public hasn't fully seen yet? From a strategic standpoint, OpenAI needs stability right now more than almost any other time in its existence. Going public means disclosing financials, submitting to regulatory scrutiny, and convincing institutional investors that the management team is coherent and capable of executing over a multi-year horizon. A trifecta of C-suite departures, even with sympathetic explanations, introduces noise into that narrative. Wall Street does not love noise. There is also a competitive dimension here. Google DeepMind, Anthropic, Meta AI, and a growing list of well-funded startups are all pushing hard to capture the same market. OpenAI's ability to ship products, tell its story to the public, and manage its internal operations is central to holding its position at the top. When three of the people closest to those functions are simultaneously stepping back, competitors notice. What should you watch for in the weeks ahead? Look at who OpenAI names to fill or cover these roles. The choices will signal what the company prioritizes, whether it bets on internal leaders who understand the culture or brings in external operators who can prepare the company for life as a public entity. Watch also for any changes to the IPO timeline. If the offering gets delayed, this leadership moment may be one reason cited. The bigger picture is this. OpenAI is attempting to do something that has never been done before. Take a company built around frontier artificial intelligence public, under extraordinary scrutiny, in an environment of geopolitical tension and regulatory uncertainty. That is hard under the best circumstances. Right now, the circumstances are complicated.